Hi everyone, welcome back to the course. In the previous lesson, we have been written code that execute line by line from top to bottom. But what happens when you need to do something repetitive, like printing number from 0 to 100 or processing every item in a shopping cart? That's where loops comes in. Today we are diving into one of the most powerful concept in programming. It's loops. By the end of this video, you will understand what loops are, why they are essential, and the different types available in JavaScript. So let's get started. The first question is what are loops? Right? A loop is a programming structure that allow you to execute a block of code multiple times instead of writing the same code over and over again. Loops let you repeat actions automatically based on a condition. Think of it like this. Imagine you are a teacher and you need to call out the names of 30 students. You should say student 1, 2, 3, 4 manually. So, or you could recreate a simple rule. Start at 1, call the name at 1. Repeat until you reach 30. That's exactly what a loop does in code. So, without loops, your code might be look like this. Multiple time you are repeating, right? And what if you need to do this 100 times or 1000 times? That's not practical. So, with loops, you can do it just a single or two line of code, and it's written exactly the same what you are writing here. And this is much clear, and this will work whether you need 5 iteration or 500 iterations. It doesn't matter. Okay, so this is helpful, and that's why you oftenly use the loops, multiple loops, different types of loop you are using. Now, why do we need loops? Let me give you some real world scenario where loops are essential. First is processing collection of data. Okay, the first, imagine you have an array of products in an e-commerce site. You need to display each product name and price. A loop lets you go through each item automatically. Second is repeating actions. Need to send an email to 500 subscribers. Loop through the subscriber list and send the email to each one. Performing calculations, calculating the sum of numbers from 0 to 100. A loop make this, it's a triable, so it's really cleaner. You don't need to send every time manually, right? Another is game development. In games, loops are continuously to update the screen, check for player input, and move character. Fifth, user interface, rendering lists, tables, or any repeating elements. Loops are your best friend. So bottom line, loops eliminate repetition, save time, and make your code maintainable and scalable. So next question is type of loops in JavaScript. JavaScript gives us several types of loops, each suites for different situation. Let me give you a quick overview of what's coming in the next few lessons. Okay, at first, for loop. This is the most common loop. It's perfect when you know exactly how many times you want to repeat something. The syntax include an initialization, a condition, and an increment, all in one line. Secondly, while loop. The while loop keeps running as long as the condition is true. It's great when you don't know in advance how many iteration you will need. And do while loop, similar to the while loop, but with one key different. It guarantees that the code block run at least one, even if the condition is false from the start. And next is nested loops. These are loops inside loops. Okay, they are useful for working with the multi-dimensional data like matrix or creating a pattern. So we will also cover important concepts like break statement to exit a loop early, continue statement to skip the current iteration and move to the next, infinite loops, what they are and how to avoid them. So don't worry if this sound like a lot. We will take it step by step, and each loop type will get its own dedicated lesson. So no problem. So don't worry. Just chill. Okay. Next question is loop anatomy and the basic structure. So before we dive into the specific loop type, let's understand the basic anatomy of a loop. Every loop has a three key components. First, initialization, second, condition, and third is update or increment. The initialization is where you set up your starting point. Usually you create a counter variable And the condition, this is the rule that determine whether the loop should continue running as long as this condition is true. Otherwise, the loop keeps going. And third is increment or update. After each iteration, you update your counter or change something so that eventually the condition becomes false. Otherwise, you did have an infinite loop. Here is the visual breakdown using a for loop. And this is the actual example with those loops. This is the initial part, initialization, starting from 0. And this is the condition, keep looping while I is less than 5. And this is the update. It increment I by 1 after each iteration. Okay. So let's check in the console how it works. Console node loops enter. Oh, maybe we didn't console log yet, right? Yes. So go to your browser console and let me check. Then we check how the output comes up. The browser, open the console and putting the value and enter. You see, it's printing the 5 times 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So this is the output result. Now, let me show you a practical example that demonstrates the power of loops. Let's say we want to calculate the sum of all number from 1 to 100 or 1 to 10 without loop. How it look like? Without loop, it's look like this. You are putting all the value together, then you get the answer, right? And with loops, this is your answer, and you get the exactly same answer, same result, exactly same result you get. Actually, now what if I asked you to sum number from 1 to 1000 with the loop approach? You just change the one number, this 1 equal then 100, I mean 1000, and that's the beauty of loop. Let's do one more quick example, printing the sum pattern. How? So go to before, okay, comes here, paste it here, then enter. You see, this is the pattern, and this is the code look like. Isn't it cool? Is it? So again, loop make this incredibly simple and scalable, right? Great, great job. You have done lots of, and you know how to implement loops now. Okay. So there is some common mistake. Okay, before we wrap up, so let me share some important tips. And this common mistake actually, please try to be alert when you are typing or implementing this loop. If you forget to update your counter or write a condition that never becomes a false, your loop will run forever and crash your browser. And this is what it means. You see, this is initialization, this is condition. But where is the increment or update? No update. That means this is infinite loop. So be careful. Okay. The second is off by 1 errors. So be careful with your condition. Use less than, using less than versus less than equal can make a big difference. Okay. So be careful this. I mean less than or I mean versus less than equal. These both are different. Totally different. Okay. So best practice. In the best practice, remember use meaningful variable names instead of we are using I. So you can use index or count, something descriptive when it improve the readability. It's if it's necessary. Okay. And second is keep it simple. Don't put too much logic inside your loop. If it get complex, break it into a functions. This is helpful. Thirdly, know when to use which loop. We will cover this in detail in upcoming lesson. But choosing the right loop type makes your code totally cleaner. Okay. So follow this and do practice. Try to remember those loops. So now at the very end of this video, let's recap. So today we covered what loops are and why they are essential for reducing code repeating, code repetition, the basic anatomy of a loop is initialization, condition, and update, and overview of the different types of loops available in JavaScript, some quick examples showing the power of loops. So in the next lesson, we are going to deep dive into the for loop, the most commonly used loop in JavaScript. We will explore its syntax in details, work through multiple examples, and you will get hands-on practice. Loops might seem a bit abstract right now, but trust me, once you start using them, you will wonder how you ever coded without them. If you have any question, drop them in the comment below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more JavaScript content. I will see you in the next lesson where we will tackle the for loop in depth. Okay, happy coding.